Good morning. Al Ingalls here at pressure-free.com. It is a Sunday morning. I'm out on my walk, and this is actually where like a controlled burn happened out in the nature center. But there are two fawns this morning and no sign of any parents. I've been following them for a while here, and I don't know if they're abandoned, if something happened to the mom. Maybe she got hit by a car. There's a road not far from here. But I've been out here with these little ones for about 20 minutes now, and they're not particularly afraid. Let me see, I can probably get this up closer here so you can see them if I could find them. There they are. There they are. There's one of them, and then the other one is over here. There they are. They're munching on some leaves here, and so I'm gonna go back here, flip this around. I'll put them behind me so you can see them while I speak to you, I think, if I can find them. Where are you guys? Where are you? Where are you? Trying to find some deer. Where did they go? Oh, they're between the two trees. Are they there? Isn't it so funny? You turn your camera around, then you can't find anything. Where are these guys? Where are you? Did I go too far? Okay. I don't want to waste your time. I'm going to try to get closer to them though, and maybe pick them up here if you can see them. So, abandonment. That is our theme this morning. And wow, I'm getting like really close. Can you see them? Just flipping my camera around because you got to see this. Look so close to them. Very close. They're not really afraid of me. I'm getting closer and closer. So these guys need some protection. But there's no mom. I mean, I've been out here 20 minutes. No sign of any mother. There's the other little one. And it really just brought up feelings in me of a time when my parents should have protected me about something. And it didn't happen. And I forgave them. I forgave the whole incident. Hi, little one. Um, but I was really vulnerable. I was only 4. And I think all of us have some sorts of trauma, some time when we felt abandoned by someone. Maybe you were in a relationship and the other person ended the relationship and you just felt really lonely, really alone. Um, Boy, I'm getting even closer now. This little guy's stomping though. Look, he's already learned how to stomp. Um, and that abandonment feeling is like it's a serious dread in the pit of the stomach kind of thing. But what do you feel when you feel some sort of lack of protection? Um, Everyone's a little bit different in what they feel. For some people, it's oh wow, you're wanting to move. Here's the other guy. You're wanting to move quickly, like that little guy just did. You want to get away from it. You want to flee. But sometimes when we're abandoned, there's nowhere to go. Like, where can these little two ones go? There's no mommy. There's no mommy out here. They're just really out on their own. And that's how it can feel if you weren't protected when you were little, or if you had some sort of trauma. Like, there's nowhere to go, and there's no one to protect you. Look, I am a potential predator here, and I'm just feet away from these little guys. And they're stomping a little bit, so they know to be a little bit like, watch out. I'm going to try to watch. Let's see how close I can actually get. I'm going to keep my stomach very relaxed and see how close I can get to them. It's just like when I was a little 4-year-old girl. I wasn't afraid. I didn't know I had to be afraid of the situation that happened to me. I didn't know I had to be afraid. I was completely open and completely trusting, just like these little deer are here. I mean, it's actually walking toward me. Hi, baby. And so oh, there they go. I got too close. So they are fleeing, and look, they kind of went in different directions. Now oh, there they go. You see them go? All right, we'll flip around here and talk about this abandonment thing, because lack of protection, abandonment, again, whether it was a parent or whether you were in a relationship and the other person ended the relationship. Maybe you ended the relationship and then you were just really lonely. And when those kinds of things happen to us, it's so easy to be raw, right? It's so easy to be raw. It's so easy to go into fight or flight for the smallest of things, like your day just not quite going so well. And that night you just feel miserable and alone. And lack of protection is a huge deal. Um, this is kind of crazy, but whenever my husband would go off hunting or on a trip or something, I'd be home alone with the boys. That was always when something happened in our neighborhood. I remember the night when the Yargers behind me gave me a phone call and they said, by the way, across the street, someone was just broken in. We just want to let you know. It's like 10:30 at night. Of course, Pete's gone, right? The they had just called the police, so police are going to come. They didn't want me to worry when I heard all the sirens, right? So it's just interesting how easy it is to go into fight or flight when you've felt abandoned or you felt a lack of protection, or you don't have that. I remember a friend of mine living in a rather scary neighborhood, and so much going on. When your kids are hearing gunshots and stuff like that is going on, it's just, you're almost always vigilant. You're always primed to release stress hormones so you can fight or run away. So this lack of a protection or abandonment in the case of the fawns this morning, um, it's something that takes a while. You can take, you've gone decades and yet those thoughts will still roll up in your head. Those feelings will still have some control over you. So working on that with the pressure-free method can be really profound work and really incredible work to assess what happened in a more neutral way, really look at it and say, oh, there they are again. Oh, I have to flip. Here they are again. Amazing. So I've just been walking and now they're right close to me again. It's like they're following the same path I am. Hey, baby. So Raphael says, I lived with my parents for a total of 5 years. I too forgave them. We choose how we deal with our circumstances, which, I got to read more here, can I see more? Which are out of our control. I wouldn't change my experiences as they have shaped me into who I have become. Thanks for sharing with us. So beautiful. Yeah, I mean, we do. That's the thing. You've grown up now. If you're on this, you're probably, an adult. Maybe you're a student, because I have a lot of student followers. But sometimes we can plunge back into being 4 years old, depending on when trauma or whatever it was hit us. But now you're an adult and you actually have some choices. And the thing is, it won't feel like it if you keep repeating and going into your loops, which is why it's really important for you to start to notice when you first start to feel it. When do you first start to feel that feeling of abandonment, lack of protection, being afraid? This guy's coming closer and closer to me. When do you first start to feel that? In that 10-second window, when you first start to feel that, that's when you start to flip the switch on the narrative. That's when you start to take control over your response to what you're remembering. Because in the past, you've just been reacting. And it's natural because, especially if it was really traumatic, we just keep reacting. I've been with these little ones here for now about 20, 25 minutes. They're still not afraid of me. They took off once, but now I've circled around. They found me. Okay, now they're going to bound a little bit. Isn't that incredible? Like, we build trust pretty fast. And now they're off and they move very fast. So, what a lesson this morning. I mean, nature teaches a lot of lessons. I really feel like the mother is probably not alive for her to not be with those two little ones. But sometimes our parents, even if they were alive, they weren't capable here of nurturing us the way we needed to. They did the best they could, but it had some holes in it. One of the things I work on with my clients is, okay, we're building foundations. So look at your foundation, and are there places in your foundation that we need to fix the cracks? And it's so wild. I was just working with a client last night or yesterday, and it was so cool how she said there's cracks in my foundation before I even brought up the foundation thing. It's like they read my mind. So we need to identify those spots. You can identify them by identifying what are those looping thoughts that keep coming up and keep stopping you from doing something that you really want to do now as an adult. So if we can crack into that, change the code, actually change the neural pathways about how you think about that thing, like Raphael said here. He wouldn't change the experiences he had because they made him who he is today. He's an amazing person, by the way. I've been on his podcast. He's an amazing person. So it's like those things that happen to us can be our greatest strengths, can be the thing that makes you empathetic and understanding of someone else going through something really tough. That's what it's brought to me for sure. Also, the experience for me, what happened when I was 4, maybe even more determined than I might have been. It built a strength in me. And it also made me realize that sometimes grown-ups don't do very nice things. And it's not my fault. There's a screw loose. There's something going down. It's not my fault. And I was like a fierce little 4-year-old standing up to all that. And so it's interesting when you can flip the script on it. It can be a lifelong process for some of the traumas that we've had to keep flipping the switch on it. Again, for those of you who don't know this tool, I want to share it. So flip the switch is when you notice your thoughts going in a negative direction. That's going to affect every cell of your body, your very DNA. We need to flip the switch on that. So I pretend there's a switch on your head, right? And you're literally flipping it up. And that's because a gross motor motion, a big motion, like my Ferris wheel and this flip the switch, is one of the only ways a grown-up brain, an adult brain, can actually create new neural pathways, can actually change what's going on and rewire what's going on for you. A big motion. So have you flipped the switch like this? I smile to keep dopamine flowing. Dopamine is that important neurotransmitter that allows your outer brain to think and remember very well. So I smile a little. I look, because it's not worth smiling about. Like, I'm not feeling good, but I still smile a little to keep the dopamine flowing. I look up in my head and I go, caught you. That's my slogan here. So this is a multi-tool, like lots of tools all in one. Gross motor motion, dopamine flowing with the smile. Slogan with caught you, caught my brain going back into that pattern. And then the next thing that I do is put an empowering question powerfully into my mind. So for example, if I'm going back into the trauma, going back and kind of reliving those moments again, I will say to myself, how can I release this? How can I move past this? How can I be strong through this? Something like that. When you ask your brain an empowering question, your brain wants to answer it. Your brain is better than Google. It wants to search and search all of your knowledge, everything you've experienced. It wants you to get resourceful to answer the question. I love how Tony Robbins says there's no lack of resources, especially today in this century, in this country, there's no lack of resources, but there's a lack of resourcefulness. We are a little lazy. We think everything can just come to us. When you ask the empowering question, you get motivated to actually find the answer. You may pop on Google and find an answer. You may drop onto, like, I can't believe somebody found me on the internet the other night. What did they type in? They typed in positivity. And I was on page 1. I mean, that just blew my mind. Actually, and I don't just talk about positive mindset. I talk about optimal mindset. Using an empowering question doesn't necessarily make you feel happy because your thoughts are about that trauma that happened to you or whatever it is that's circulating in. It's not like you're going to stuff down your feelings, but you're going to transform them to empower you. That's why it's called the empowering question. So, we're about to come up here to one of my favorite trees. I'll show you my favorite tree up here. Is this making sense? Is this landing for you that you can actually rewire this, actually change the neural pathways about something that you've been stewing over for years and decades in this 10-second window? Because if the fight or flight hormones go out, you'll stay stuck. Have you ever just felt stuck? You know, that is what's powerful. When you can change that. I was working with a client the other day about performance anxiety, and it only takes one experience of having a panic attack when you're a performer. Baseball players talk about it all the time, musicians talk about it. Here's my beautiful tree. On this thing. This is the most amazing birch tree I've ever seen. So we're gonna sit here by this gorgeous birch tree to finish this up. Actually, there's a lot of ants on the bench, so I'll stand. Performance anxiety. I was working with a client on performance anxiety, and and here's the deal. It only takes one experience, and then doubt creeps in. The nasty doubt creeps in. So the next time you go to perform whatever it is, you're a pitcher, you're going to take the mound. I'm a violinist, you're going to take the stage. Whatever it is that you do, if you've had that experience once, the doubt creeps in that, oh, what if that happens again? This is what happened to me when I was, well, how old was I? 25, 26. Not as a conductor, but as a violinist. It happened in a recital of someone else's playing the Mozart string quartet, clarinet, Mozart clarinet quintet. And I was the first violinist, had a massive panic attack going out on stage. Didn't even know what that was because we didn't have words like that. We just said stage fright, right? It was so bad. I thought I had ruined the recital. Actually, I was enough of a pro that it wasn't that bad. But I was like, oh, this could never happen to me again. I never had that kind of feeling on stage before. I love being on stage. So I went to the med library at Michigan, University of Michigan, and I started researching. And that was really kind of the germ of the tools that I've been using for years to perform well on stage, perform well in a meeting, in a presentation, whatever it is. And I've taught it to countless people throughout the decades. But then 2010 is when I created the method. The method is I just have to say it's flawless. I mean, it's helped hundreds of people that I've worked with privately, hundreds of people. So kind of rambling today. I hope this is making sense. I was just blown away by seeing those two fawns, abandoned like that. I don't see that, very often out here. It's a big preserve, and we can see all these beautiful flowers, and there's, the flowers are gorgeous. And so it's a big preserve, but it's surrounded by roads. So maybe the mom crossing the road didn't make it, and the babies are now on their own. So I guess we're going to close out here, but lack of protection, abandonment. I just want to say it's not your fault. It's not your fault that those thoughts keep recirculating and have maybe affected you and blocked you from stepping into your full potential all these years. It doesn't need to be that way, and today can be a new day for you. I love to tell my clients that, this is the first day of the rest of your life. This is your first day learning how to live pressure free. That is, I don't know, it's the greatest gift I could ever give another human, is to teach them this. So that's the mission I'm on. Our mental health system is broken. It's putting people on medication that really don't need to be on medication. And I'm not anti-medication, but if you try this first and it helps you, because I'm seeing people being put on not just one medication, but 2, 3, 4, even 5 medications, because there's a desperation to help them and keep them alive. And I understand that, but we've got to get to the root. We've got to figure out what is actually triggering fight or flight for them. That's what we need to do. So that is the mission of Pressure Free, to free up your mind and body from the nasty stress hormones that keep you locked in, those negative patterns, those patterns of doubt and disbelief. And okay, here's a wind blew. So I hope this is helpful. If you need some help, please reach out. Or if you know someone who's struggling, please just reach out to me. Private message me. Lately, people are just ditching private message, be like, I need to talk to you. I'll just send you my calendar link. It's easy. It's just speakwithelle.com. You can pop on with me. Another thing, we're going to talk about this in a future cast here, but if you know someone who has a genetic predisposition to cancers, that's like a real mission for me. So I'm going to be doing a post on that soon, about various types of cancer, and how pressure free can help you stop triggering those stress hormones that create such a massive, perfect storm for cancer, like you can't believe. So, heart disease, of course, all chronic disease, but that was just one that was on my mind this morning. So I need to definitely do a post on that. But this one's about abandonment and protection. You deserve protection. You deserve unconditional love. There's too little of that in our world today. We got cancel culture instead. That's real unconditional love there. So, unconditional love. You deserve it. You deserve someone who's in your court no matter what. You deserve a cheerleader. You deserve someone who believes in you. And if you didn't get it when you were little, I mean, I had a client once, a young client, say to me, he actually downloaded one of my videos on confidence. He goes, I watch it every morning because I feel like finally somebody gets me and cares about me, and we can all have some feelings like that. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you have a great pressure free day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.